For decades, the playbook was simple. The U.S. president yells and Canada jumps. The White House threatens and Ottawa apologizes. Donald Trump thought that playbook still worked. He thought he could bully Mark Carney the same way he bullies his own cabinet. He was wrong. Yesterday, Trump launched an economic attack meant to crush the Canadian economy overnight. He wanted total submission. He wanted a photo op of a Canadian prime minister bending the knee. But Carney didn't bend. He didn't blink, and he definitely didn't apologize. Instead, he did the one thing Trump never saw coming. He said no, and then he hit back. Not with a tweet, not with a shout, but with a lever that is currently squeezing the American economy so hard, Wall Street is screaming for mercy. You are watching history shift in real time. The little brother isn't listening anymore. The map of North America is being redrawn right in front of your eyes. In the next 40 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened in the last 24 hours. I'm going to show you the documents Trump signed, the phone call Carney refused to take, and the secret weapon Canada just activated that has left the White House scrambling for a backup plan. You need to understand this because even if you don't live in Canada, this fight is about to hit your wallet, your gas tank, and your job. Trump wanted a fight. Carney gave him a war, and right now only one of them looks like they know how to win it. So let's strip away the noise and look at the cold, hard reality of the last 48 hours. It started on Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. Washington time. Donald Trump wakes up. He's angry. The economic numbers are down. His poll numbers are slipping in the Rust Belt. He needs a win. He needs a villain. So he looks north. He posts a video. Maybe you saw it. He's sitting at the Resolute desk. He looks red-faced. He's waving a piece of paper. He announces Executive Order 12299. He calls it the Northern Security and Fairness Act. But that's a lie. It's not about security, and it's definitely not about fairness. It's an economic blockade. Trump declared that effective immediately, all Canadian energy imports, oil, gas, hydro, would be hit with a massive 25% national emergency tariff unless Canada agreed to 3 demands. Demand 1, Canada must close its borders to anyone Trump doesn't like. Demand 2, Canada must pull out of its new digital tax treaty with Europe. Demand 3, Mark Carney must fly to D.C. within 48 hours to renegotiate the USMCA trade deal on live TV. It was an ultimatum. It was a hostage note. Trump thought this was a slam dunk. He thought the Canadian dollar would crash by noon. He thought business leaders in Toronto would panic and force Carney to surrender. He expected fear. But here is what he got instead. Silence. For 4 hours, Ottawa said nothing. No press release, no angry tweets. The media in the U.S. started mocking Carney. Fox News ran banners saying, "Canada crumbles." Trump's advisors were high-fiving in the West Wing. They thought they had won without firing a shot. Then at 1 p.m., the cameras turned on in Ottawa. Mark Carney walked out. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't wearing a red hat. He was wearing a dark suit. He looked like a banker who just denied a loan to a risky client. He stood at the podium. He looked right down the lens, and he didn't address Trump. He addressed you. He addressed the markets. He said, "Canada does not negotiate with economic terrorists." He didn't just reject the demands. He rejected the premise. He announced that effective immediately, Canada was invoking Article 22 of the Strategic Reserve Protocol. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. Trump didn't know either, but he knows now. Article 22 allows Canada to restrict the flow of heavy crude oil to foreign nations that are deemed hostile to national economic security. Carney labeled the United States of America a hostile economic actor. Let that sink in. The closest ally, the biggest trading partner, now labeled hostile, and then he turned the valve. Pipeline pressure to the U.S. Midwest dropped by 40% in 6 hours. Trump's tariff was a threat on paper. Carney's response was a shock to the system. This isn't politics anymore. This is economic warfare. And the U.S. president just realized he brought a knife to a gunfight. You might be thinking, is it really that bad? Is this just political theater? I want to show you the receipts. I want to show you the proof that this is the most dangerous moment in North American history since 1812. Look at this chart. This is the spot price of Western Canadian Select crude oil. For the last year, it's been stable. Look at what happened at 1:15 p.m. yesterday, 15 minutes after Carney finished speaking. It didn't crash. It spiked. Why? Because the markets realize that without Canadian heavy crude, American refineries in the Midwest can't function. They are built for that specific type of oil. They can't just switch to Texas Light sweet crude overnight. It's physically impossible. Carney knows this. He used to run central banks. He knows the plumbing of the global economy better than Trump knows his own golf course. Receipt number 2. Look at the footage coming out of Detroit. This was taken 3 hours ago. That is the Ambassador Bridge. Usually 10,000 trucks cross here every day. It's the heartbeat of the auto industry. Right now it's a parking lot. But look closer. The trucks aren't stuck because of customs. They are stuck because Canadian independent truckers have stopped rolling. This wasn't a government order. This is a grassroots revolt. Canadian drivers are refusing to haul goods into a country that just declared war on their livelihood. Ford, GM, Stellantis, they run on just-in-time delivery. They don't have warehouses full of parts. They have parts on trucks. When those trucks stop, the factories stop. We have reports that 2 assembly plants in Michigan have already sent workers home. That's thousands of American jobs on pause less than 24 hours after Trump signed his paper. Receipt number 3, the currency markets. Trump's advisors told him the Canadian dollar, the loonie, would collapse. They bet against it. But look at the trading floor in Chicago. The Canadian dollar held. Why? Because Mark Carney made a second move that nobody saw coming. While Trump was watching cable news, Carney was on the phone. He called London, he called Tokyo, he called Berlin, and this morning, the Bank of England and the European Central Bank announced a liquidity swap line with Canada. Basically, the rest of the Western world just stepped in to backstop Canada's currency. They picked a side, and they didn't pick the guy threatening 25% tariffs on his friends. This is the part the news isn't telling you. The world is tired of Trump's chaos. They are tired of the threats. Carney gave them a way to push back. By supporting Canada, Europe is sending a message to Washington. You are alone. And finally, look at this internal memo leaked from the U.S. Department of Energy. It's stamped urgent. It says, and I quote, "Strategic petroleum reserve release may be necessary within 72 hours if Canadian flows do not resume." 3 days. The United States of America, the supposed energy superpower, is 3 days away from tapping its emergency reserves because Canada turned off the tap. That is leverage. That is power. Trump has the microphone, but Carney has the switch. So why is this happening? Why is Trump flailing? Because he's fighting the last war. Trump thinks he's still in 2016. He thinks he can just threaten a tariff and everyone will fold. He thinks the U.S. market is so big that nobody can afford to lose it. He treats countries like contractors he can stiff on a bill. But the world has changed, and Donald Trump is losing control because he doesn't understand the new rules. First, he doesn't understand the man he's fighting. Trump is used to politicians. He's used to people who need votes, people who are scared of a bad headline. Mark Carney isn't a normal politician. He's a technocrat. He's a numbers guy. He's a crisis manager. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, Carney was the one steady hand. When the British economy was shaking, Carney went to the Bank of England and fixed it. He doesn't get emotional. He gets calculated. Trump screams. Carney calculates. Trump throws a chair. Carney locks the door. You can see the frustration on Trump's face in his latest press conference. Did you see it? He was sweating. He was rambling. He started talking about great relationships in the past tense. He blamed his own commerce secretary. He blamed the media. He's looking for a scapegoat because he knows the math doesn't work. If he keeps these tariffs, gas prices in Ohio and Pennsylvania, states he needs, will shoot up by 50 cents a gallon by next week. If he backs down, he looks weak. He looks like he lost to Canada. He has painted himself into a corner. And notice who isn't helping him. Where are the Republicans in Congress? Usually they line up to defend him. But today, silence. Senators from border states are terrified. They know their local economies depend on Canadian trade. They know that if Canada stops buying U.S. milk or U.S. corn, their farmers go bankrupt. They are looking at Trump and thinking, you went too far. Trump is impulsive. He wakes up and makes a decision based on what he sees on TV. Carney is strategic. He has been preparing for this moment for years. Do you think it was an accident that Canada signed a new critical minerals deal with Japan last month? Do you think it was an accident that Carney spent weeks touring European capitals? He was building a fortress. He knew Trump would come for him eventually. He knew a bully always needs a victim. So he built a coalition. He diversified. And now, when Trump tries to squeeze, he finds out that Canada isn't soft anymore. It's hardened. Trump is losing control because his only weapon is fear. But Canada isn't afraid. When the victim stops being afraid, the bully loses all his power. And that is exactly what you are watching. A superpower realizing its threats have turned into blanks. Let's go deeper into Carney's strategy. Because what he is doing is revolutionary. Usually when the U.S. attacks a smaller country economically, that country tries to negotiate. They beg. They offer concessions. They try to smooth things over. Carney did the opposite. He escalated. But he didn't escalate with insults. He escalated with structural pain. He is using asymmetric warfare. He knows he can't win a total trade war. The U.S. is 10 times bigger, but he knows he can inflict targeted pain on the specific voters Trump cares about. By targeting heavy crude, he hits the Midwest, Trump's base. By targeting the auto supply chain, he hits Michigan, Trump's base. By targeting lumber and aluminum, he hits construction costs in Florida and Texas, Trump's home. He is bypassing the White House and attacking Trump's political life support. It's surgical, it's cold, and it's brilliant. Carney is also framing this as a moral stand. Listen to his language. He talks about sovereignty. He talks about rule of law. He talks about reliability. He is telling the world, we are the adults. The U.S. has gone rogue. This attracts investment. Global investors hate uncertainty. Trump is pure uncertainty. Carney is offering Canada as a safe harbor. He is saying, put your factories here. We don't do trade wars by tweet. We follow the rules. And it's working. We have reports of 2 major German manufacturing conglomerates pausing their U.S. expansion plans this morning. They are looking at Ontario instead. Why? Because they know they can sell from Canada to the world. But if they build in the U.S., they are trapped in Trump's wars. Carney is turning Canada into the Switzerland of North America, a neutral, stable, rule-following fortress right next to the chaos. This is a long game. Trump wants a win for the 6 o'clock news. Carney is playing for where the world will be in 10 years. He understands that the era of American dominance is cracking. And instead of going down with the ship, he is building a life raft. He's not anti-American. He's pro-survival. And right now, survival means saying no to Donald Trump. So what does this mean for you? If you're watching this from the U.S., you need to be worried. This VW deal is the canary in the coal mine. If Volkswagen, a massive, slow-moving German giant, is nimble enough to dodge Trump, everyone else is too. We are looking at the potential hollowing out of the American industrial revival. Biden tried to build it up with the Inflation Reduction Act. Trump is tearing it down with tariff threats. When companies leave, the tax base leaves. When the tax base leaves, schools crumble, roads don't get fixed, and your property taxes go up to cover the difference. It means that the next time you go to buy a car, it might be more expensive because it has to be imported from Canada, and if Trump does slap a tariff on it, you pay that tax, not Volkswagen. That's the dirty secret of tariffs. Companies don't pay them. You do. If Trump puts a 25% tariff on Canadian-made VWs, the price of that car just went up $10,000 for you. And if you don't buy it, you have fewer choices. For the world, this signals the end of American economic hegemony. For 70 years, the U.S. was the center of the solar system. Everyone orbited around Washington. But Carney just proved that you can thrive by orbiting near Washington without being in Washington. He's proving that you can use proximity to the U.S. market without submitting to U.S. political insanity. This is a signal to Japan. Toyota is watching. Honda is watching. If they see VW succeed in Ontario, do you think they're going to build their next plant in Alabama? Or will they look at the map, see the stability in Canada, and head north too? We are watching the Rust Belt potentially expand. And this time it's not because of cheap labor in Mexico, it's because of smart leadership in Canada. I want you to look at one specific moment from the press conference in St. Thomas today. The CEO of Volkswagen, Oliver Blume, was standing at the podium. Behind him, the Canadian flag and the German flag were crossed. A reporter asked him, was the political climate in the U.S. a factor in this decision? Usually CEOs dodge this. They give a non-answer. Blume didn't dodge. He paused. He adjusted the microphone. And he said 5 words that should terrify the Republican Party. He said, capital goes where it is welcome. He didn't mention Trump's name. He didn't have to. The silence after that sentence was louder than any rally speech. Capital goes where it is welcome. And right now, thanks to Donald Trump, capital does not feel welcome in America. It feels hunted. And Mark Carney, he was standing right next to Blume. He didn't smile. He just nodded. That nod said everything. It said, we built a shelter and they came. So where do we go from here? This is the dangerous part. This is the part where leaders usually calm it down, but Trump doesn't do calm. Scenario A, the tantrum tariff. Trump likely wakes up tomorrow and announces a punishment tax on Canadian auto parts. He tries to hurt VW for leaving. This triggers a trade war. Canada retaliates by slowing down energy exports. The U.S. Northeast sees electricity prices spike. It gets ugly fast. Scenario B, the border shutdown. Trump might order enhanced inspections at the border to slow down Canadian goods. We've seen this before. Trucks backed up for miles at the Ambassador Bridge. This hurts Canada, yes, but it cripples the U.S. auto industry within days. U.S. factories run on just-in-time delivery. If a part is stuck at the border for 48 hours, the line in Detroit stops. Trump would be strangling his own voters to spite Carney. Scenario C, the domino effect. This is the most likely long-term outcome. Other nations see Canada as the safe zone. We see a rush of investment into Ontario and Quebec. The U.S. enters a period of isolationist stagnation, while Canada enters a golden age of industrialization. Carney knows the risks. He's already preparing the Canadian economy for the shock. He's building cash reserves. He's lining up support from the EU. He is betting that Trump will bark, but he won't bite hard enough to destroy the U.S. economy. It's a calculated risk. But Carney is a man who calculates risk for a living. Volkswagen leaving the U.S. for Canada isn't just a business story. It's a verdict. It's a verdict on two different visions of the future. One vision is angry, reactive, and obsessed with the past. It builds walls and burns bridges. The other vision is cool, strategic, and focused on the future. It builds factories and signs treaties. Donald Trump tried to make America fearsome. Instead, he made it unreliable. Mark Carney tried to make Canada indispensable. And today, with $7 billion of German money hitting his bank account, it looks like he succeeded. The factory in Tennessee will remain a patch of dirt. The factory in Ontario will build the cars of tomorrow. And the American people are left asking, how much more is America First going to cost us? I want to hear from you. Is Mark Carney a genius for stealing this deal, or is he poking the bear? Can Canada actually survive if Trump decides to go nuclear on the border? And if you're American, how does it feel to watch the jobs promised to you go north because of your president's ego? Let me know in the comments. I read them all. This channel is tracking the U.S.-Canada rupture every single day. The mainstream media is asleep at the wheel on this. We are not. Click subscribe, hit the bell. You need to know what happens next because I promise you Trump's response is coming and it won't be quiet. Stay watching.